Good morning, good afternoon and good evening to anyone who is tuning in now to watch this video on the notion of using if, else statement to design a decision construct. The decision construct that we're designing today is to find out who wins a match, but not just any match. It's a game of hurling. Probably one of the oldest, if not oldest and best field sports, definitely the fastest in the world. So it's exclusively played in Ireland, with a few places where the immigrants have played also as well, okay, especially in the States. Now, here's the thing, is before we even look at that, what we possibly should do is look at the notion of how would we decide whether a game was won by the home team, the away team, or if it was a draw. Let's just take an ordinary football game, okay, soccer or whatever, and let's just go for I don't know, enter, and let's just say AC. Okay, I don't know why I chose them, but I did. Okay, and let's just say for argument's sake, okay, it finished, enter 2, AC 1. Okay, we don't even need, and this is a very important point as regards programming, we don't even really need to think too much to see, this is greater than this, so therefore this team won. We do it in a split of a second. And this is the point about what I'm saying about that you break a program down, or break a scenario down to its very basic steps, and then build it back up to the meeting point where the programming language can meet that logic and therefore make that decision to us first. So what we actually have to do is, let's just say for argument's sake that we do have a program that we can enter in the home team and the away team's name, and then we can enter in the score lines. And then what we want to do is obviously allow the program to decide, did the home team or did the away team win? Okay, so in this case here, what we're saying in our mind is, if the home team score, let's just say HTS, home team score, is greater than, and it's important here to know your mathematical operators, which I'll do very, very quickly anyway, away team score, we know that home team, home. Okay, that's straightforward. And what I would do if I was programming this, which you'll show in this part 2 of this video, is work this out first of all. Work out this logic and see, does this work? Okay, so even if you did a printing out home team 1, and then you went in and you changed the logic, and let's just say enter, now this would never happen, okay, because we all know, okay, proper order. But supposing if it was enter 0 and AC 1, nil, 1 0. And if we have this built in already, we shouldn't see home team wins. So the other point that I'm kind to say here is that build your program incrementally, not all at one go. And that's a usual key thing that happens with programmers when they're starting off. They try and build everything all in one go and it gets jumbled up. But what we need to do to cater for this scenario is kind of say we could put in another if. Okay, right, away team score is greater than home team score, HTS, okay, ATS standing for away team score, and then we'd say away. Okay, that's going on fine, and it should work out grand. But the problem with this here, it's just a small technical problem, is this here and this here are seen as two different decisions altogether. So what we actually need to do is kind of incorporate something in here that will join them both, so it's really being acted all in one. Okay, and if you think about it, if the first scenario isn't accruing or happening, Then we have to say, else it could be something else, or else it could be something else. And that actually relates back then to here. That if we wanted to just even put in, just even think of it this way, else if. Right, so if the first scenario is true, we'll say home team won. Else if the second scenario, where away team score is greater than home team score, then the away team wins. Now, you might say, why don't they just use an else? The reason why I don't use an else here, but I do use it right down here, is because we have to count how many scenarios. And the 3 scenarios are as follows. Home, 2, away, and 3 is obviously draw. Okay, so what we need to put down here then, okay, is draw. Okay, now, yeah, this is a bit messy now at the moment, but what we could do then is translate this into our compiler and run it. And as I said before, run it small bits at a time. See if they work independently. Then run it all at one go. Okay? Now there are other logical ways of finding out the winner here. You could, if you wanted to, actually have a variable, if you think about it, some kind of storage point that just basically subtracts the away team score from the home team score, and if that variable now is positive, you know that this side wins. If it's negative, you know this side wins, and if it's equal to 0, you know that they're both equal. Okay? More importantly to the point is this, is that the use of a whiteboard, but also then, okay, just breaking this down here so you can see it, sorry, no, that's gone down there, sorry, now it's a bit, but you can see here the gist of an if, else. Generally, what you do is that you count the scenarios. In this case there are 3. So you know that the first 2 scenarios you need to do an if, else if, and then the third one you don't need to test for it, you just need to say if it's neither of the other 2 scenarios it must be this one. Okay? And that's what I'm doing here. Alright? Now, I'm not going to stay too long on it,